Welcome back, everyone. Well, emotional suppression is an issue that we've all likely dealt with at some point in our lives. But why is that, and how do we overcome this? Well, joining us this morning to discuss further is mental toughness and emotional intelligence expert Eric Ridmeier. Good morning to you, Eric.
Claudia, good morning. So nice to see you. Thanks for having me back again.
Yeah, well, you always have such great insight into, look, issues that we all deal with, especially out of the year we just had. So why do we have such a difficult time expressing how we feel?
Because we haven't been taught how to do it, Claudia. That's the problem. As a society, we go through school, we memorize, we regurgitate, we get thrown out into the workforce, and then people say things we don't like, or they say things that upset us, and we don't know how to respond to those things. So unfortunately, we get no training on emotional control. We're all emotional creatures. We're hardwired to feel first and think later. So it all boils down to getting control of our emotions, and it starts with educating. We get no education on this.
This is very, very true. Now, everyone struggles in their own way, right? So why do we compare ourselves to others when faced with adversity?
I think that's the gut instinct, Claudia. We automatically assume worst case scenario. It's just what we do. So when we feel an emotion, when we feel something, we automatically assume we're the only person going through it, or we're the only one that's so much worse off for us. We have to get a lot better at realizing that the feeling's okay. 100% of the time, whatever we're feeling is okay. It's how we respond to those feelings that's most important.
That makes total sense, how we respond. So let me ask you this, Eric. How can we overcome the fear of being labeled as weak for expressing our emotions? Because I think that's another big one there.
It sure is, and especially for our kids. And this is where it gets really scary, especially for boys, for males. You know, we have this society now that showing emotion is a sign of weakness. And there are lots of studies that have been done that have shown boys and girls both respond to emotions very much alike up until the preteen years. And then once they hit the age of about 12 or 13 is where they start to kind of veer off. Boys especially have to understand that the emotions are okay. It's all right to cry. It's all right to be upset. These are all natural things. But if we try to suppress it, as opposed to learning to express it, that's going to create major problems.
Yeah, and so, you know, speaking of adolescents and children, what should we be teaching our children about understanding their emotions?
This is really, really difficult, Claudia, because here's the problem. It's like the blind leading the blind, right? We didn't get any training on this. We didn't get any education on it. Now we're supposed to teach our kids how to do it. I think what's most important, especially when it comes to our children, is making certain they understand your feelings are okay. They're real. We have to let them know that what they're feeling is very real, and it's okay. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We can express the emotion, but we have to teach them tools and mechanisms where when they're put in situations and they're put up against a wall or somebody says something they don't like, we have to teach them ways to express it without anger, without violence, without being upset.
Yeah, you know, it sounds like it's something that we need to be doing on a daily basis because we're going through so much, and children actually understand a lot more than we think. What are some tips we can use to keep our feelings separate from each other? Like, what can we do about that?
Yeah, and I'm going to throw out a word here. It's the biggest word I know, Claudia, so don't think I'm smart. I don't know how to spell it, but I can say it. Okay. Compartmentalization. We have to get good at compartmentalizing our emotions. What's that mean? It means that we set aside each individual emotion we're feeling and not allow it to bleed over in other parts of our lives. What happens at work shouldn't come home. What happens at home shouldn't go to work. The way we deal with our boss is different than the way we deal with our kids. We have to get very good at setting these emotions in a box, putting them on a shelf, and not allowing them to bleed over in other parts of our lives.
Okay, I love what you said, but for me it sounds a little easier said than done. How do you block that and say, go away, I'm going to put you away for a little bit because I'm not going to let you interrupt my day?
I think the emphasis there is not blocking it, it's being aware of it. We all have these triggers. We have these things that set us off internally. If we're aware of the triggers, we can mentally prepare for it. It's like Marine Corps training. We constantly trained for the situation. Once it happened, we had desensitized our brain to it, so we'd already been there before. So I think when it comes to controlling our emotions, be aware of the triggers and know when that gets pulled, what's going to follow, it's going to be an emotion-based reaction. We have to be very cautious of that.
Oh, got it. Okay, it certainly is a skill. It's so interesting to me that you can do something about that. And again, you always have such good information. Eric, for somebody struggling right now, what is the best way to find you?
Yes, thank you for that, Claudia. It's always so nice being with you guys, too. My website's best. It's Mental Toughness. speaker.com. I'm all over social media. And the advice to anybody really struggling, I would say, is to reach out, to talk to others, especially rely on your relationships. We're all kind of going through the same stuff right now. Rely on your relationships. There are lots of people that want to help.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Eric. Wishing you the best for the new year. And as he said, don't bottle it in. Talk to someone. For more information, go to mentaltoughnessspeaker.com for more. Thanks again, Eric. Good to see you.
Claudia, you're the best. Thank you so much.
All right. Now it's time for